Chattanooga, where he had a lot of success the previous couple of years. Couple of NCAA tournament berths for the Mocs. So away we go. Sunday afternoon, couple of teams separated by just one game in the ACC standings. Boston College in the gold, Clemson in the purple. This is Nene Njai. She drew her second straight starting assignment today, Eric, with Andrea Daley continuing to come off the bench.
It's someone who Coach Mack has really liked what she's gotten in practice, the level of effort and improvement she's gotten this year, and has earned a couple of starts because of it.
Anya Poole, the second chance. Clemson misses twice, though. The first shot from Addie Porter clanged off the iron. Clemson's been off for a week since they lost a surprising home game by 12 against Syracuse last Sunday. Sidberry right to work, and a foul against Clemson. Dontavia Wagner was going to otherwise grab that offensive rebound. You saw the starting lineups. Boston College, same lineup as they had against Florida State. Clemson, same lineup that they had against Syracuse. No changes. Todd off the inbounds, finding Sidberry. Ivy lets it fly. And Kayla Ivy starts the scoring here this afternoon with a triple.
Well, that's a result of the game that Sidberry had on Thursday, because she gets the ball underneath. Basically, the whole defense collapses on her. Great job to find the open player in Ivy, who certainly we've seen when she's going right can make that three-point shot.
Been shooting the ball better the last couple of weeks has Ivy. Otherwise, for much of the year, that field goal percentage been pretty low. Zone defense for BC. There's the three from Raven Thompson. And then Njai wins the race to the loose ball and is fouled about 80 feet from the basket.
It's 2-on-1 for the rebound there. So even though it was good work by Poole to get around the first, and Njai is there. But again, look how defense starts. Everybody's ball watching Sidberry inside. And that's why she's able to make that pass out to Ivy, who ends up open for the three-point shot. It's so important early to see some of these players. Sidberry aggressive early. Ivy knocks down that shot. The confidence early in a game is really important to where BC's been when they've been right offensively.
Well, that was a great entry pass from Njai to Sidberry.
So the call stands as a Clemson foul. Basket stands, and Sidberry to the line to add to it.
Unfortunate is a good term, because Anya Poole was the one who ended up getting knocked off the court, but she's the one who got the personal. And Sidberry's three-point play makes it 6-0. McQueen, Mia Moore, one more, Thompson. Clemson does take a lot of three-point shots.
And they're going to do it against the Boston College zone that they've started in so far. But that was pretty good ball movement there. Just didn't knock it down.
Wagner showing some extended range. Dontavia Wagner makes it 8-0 Boston College.
Well, we told you, confidence early in these games has been really big for Boston College offensively. Solid start here in the early going.
Clemson is 0 for 4, and now they've turned it over. It was taken away from Tessa Miller, who had just checked in for Coach Poppy. BC can get a double-digit lead in the opening 3 minutes if they score. Wagner made the quick move to the hoop, and it is 10-0 Boston College as Wagner scores 4 in a row.
That's such good work for Wagner. She read that there was no extra defender inside. Everybody was pulled out, Josh, and so once she got around, there was nobody home on the back end.
There's the first two for Clemson. Transfer from UAB, Mia Moore. Their second leading scorer on the season at 11 a game. Sidberry cannot answer. That's going against Clemson, and Njai had the offensive rebound.
Let's go back to that Wagner basket a little bit earlier in the sequence to make it 10-0 at the time. Watch this read, right? Clemson setting up. There's no one back there once she makes that move, so she does a good job to get around more, and you saw Miller is still kind of pushed out in that zone look.
Fresh 20 for the Eagles. Athena Tomlinson checked in to throw that entry. And it's Todd getting on the scoreboard with the mid-range baseline jumper.
So really, I mean, even Sidberry in the corner, you got a touch of hesitation, but for the most part, Josh, there's been no hesitation on the offensive end for Boston College so far.
That was the first shot for Clemson's leading scorer, Loyal McQueen, and she hit it off the window.
Yeah, I think it's going to be better for Clemson to try to go faster, to try to beat Boston College before they can set up in their zone.
Wagner drew a double. That time couldn't hit off the window. Tessa Miller transferred from Belmont. She was a great player in the Missouri Valley. Mia Moore, too strong. That one against BC, though. It was Tessa Miller crashing. Tessa Miller started the first 19 games this year, so coming in early, nothing new to her. 8-point game. This is sharpshooter Hannah Cohn. She'll take and make a lot of three-pointers. That game against Syracuse last Sunday, she shot 15 threes off the bench, did Cohn. That time they find Miller cutting through the paint. Clemson starting to heat up. Deficit down to 6. Andrea Daley off the bench for Boston College. That's been her new role of late. And Jai couldn't hit and had the rebound wrestled out of her hands.
Boy, she actually read it to know she had missed, but then as you said, good takeaway by Clemson.
It was Mia Moore who couldn't hit it. Fresh 20, though, for the Tigers. McQueen finds Miller again, and the foul for Tessa Miller.
Well, that was just pick and roll to perfection for Clemson. Let's look at the last 2 baskets here. Good find by McQueen, as we talked about. Miller's been really impactful, right? Little pick and roll there, just beautifully done on those 2 sequences in a row for Clemson.
Tessa Miller, I mentioned, was a great player at Belmont. She was all Missouri Valley Conference last year as a junior, averaged 15 points a game. This is what I'm talking about with all the transfers that Coach Poppy brought in. They play 10, Eric. 8 of them are brand new, like Tessa Miller. So he just remade the entire roster just about.
It's kind of life in college basketball right now.
7-0 run ends with that. Sidberry from long range, picking up where she left off on Thursday night.
Yeah, a lot of these Boston College players maybe don't take a ton of three-pointers outside of what we've seen from Todd recently, but we can really shoot them. That's Cohn on the other end, who's a good three-point shooter, but misses there.
38% on the season. Sidberry already with 6. Just over the midway point of what's been an exciting first quarter. Athena Tomlinson played the most minutes she's played in her career against Florida State on Thursday. Daley got the contact from McQueen.
Different role here, coming off the bench last couple of games. But I think, you've seen early on good aggressiveness from Sidberry early. Ivy took that early 3. Wagner's been impactful.
2 at the line for Andrea Daley. BC scores 5 in a row to go back ahead by 8. And you were talking about coming off the bench. Daley, who's a 4-year player, a standout at times for Boston College. And you're right, she finds herself now in that different role. Foul whistled. And it can be hard for a player who's been around as long as she has. Only 5 points a game, the previous 3 for BC, so she's got to figure out a way to accept this new circumstance.
Yep. And I think that's been something that we've seen all throughout this season for Boston College. There's been a lot of different rotations, a lot of people in different spots, even game to game.
There's Cohn, who came with Coach Poppy from Tennessee Chattanooga, and she can shoot it from out there just about as well as anybody. Sidberry on the move, right to the hoop. Teya Sidberry, 8 first quarter points.
Important to see her in rhythm early.
That 3 from the left side rains in. It's Maddie Kloos. Now Clemson, we told you, they'll put them up, and now they've hit them back to back.
I was kind of interested where this game was going to live in terms of the pace. Well, both teams have shot it well early on, but on pace for a higher scoring game than maybe we expect on the floor, because there's a lot of people, when they get in rhythm early in games, it can really take them through. We've seen a lot of these players have really, really big nights. It's about trying to find it on a more consistent basis, and playing aggressively like that certainly can contribute to it.
Daley misses. Tatum Green almost had a chance at the offensive board. Then it goes out of bounds off of the freshman out of Baltimore, who had 13 against Florida State the other night. Tatum Green did. 3 3-point makes included.
Yeah, you've definitely seen some flashes for her in this freshman season. That one probably more notable than any of the others. being in conference play against a good Seminoles team.
Wow, back-to-back threes, Maddie Kluse. Boston College calls timeout. Its first 4 3-point attempts, but now they've made 3 in a row. You just saw Maddie Kluse, the senior. She's hit the last couple. Tatum Green inside. And another player that is carrying over some momentum from a great offensive output against Florida State the other night. Those 13 points against the Seminoles. Second most she's scored in any game all season. Tessa Miller got that one back. And that one over the rim there. Mia Moore.
Already 8 attempts from 3 today for Clemson.
Sidberry, that looked good. Popped in and out, though, for Teya Sidberry. Hannah Cohn. McQueen. Told you how often Hannah Cohn shoots 3-pointers. She's got the eternal green light from her coach. How about that backdoor play to Mia Moore, and she couldn't hit it. Tessa Miller delivered a perfect pass.
Yeah, really good ball movement from Clemson here in this first quarter. It stood out in a big way against this kind of matchup zone that the Eagles will play.
I really think fun quarter both ways to watch. First 8 minutes of it. Sidberry was falling down as she missed.
I like the adjustment that it feels like Clemson's made since the first 3 or 4 minutes when the Eagles started with the first 10 points of this game, and a lot of it's been Miller.
And there she is again, going to the line, Tessa Miller.
Watch this Miller, who's a really good pick and roll player. We saw that a couple of times. That's just a no-look bounce, a really good read on the cut by Moore.
Tessa Miller was at Belmont for 3 years. Nashville, Tennessee. Belmont, she's a Tennessee native. Finishing out her career, South Carolina at Clemson, 1 out of 2. Final 2 minutes of quarter number 1. Daley. Wow, another aggressive take on Andrea Daley. She saw Hannah Cohn guarding her and said, let me go ISO one-on-one. Loyal McQueen slicing through. And that is bonus time for Clemson, so that's free throw.
When BC has sort of staggered these starting lineups in different ways, you can kind of, you almost throw it out, because it really, once the game started, it's whoever has the hot hand on each particular night. And that's kind of where BC's gone with their minutes.
McQueen splits the trip. Loyal McQueen averages 14. She's got only 3 thus far. Boston College had 56% from the field. Tiana Todd, their leading scorer, has only 2. Shot clock down to 5. Wagner to work in the post, and a little too strong. She got it back, though, and is fouled. Tavia will get 2 free throws. Stick-to-itiveness there.
You know, I know the shot didn't go, but this is a little thing that Kayla Ivey does really well as a point guard. Is it's not just about the passing, but look where she puts this pass for Wagner out wide, which allows her to kind of start that circling cut to get inside around the defender, and then there's all that good work underneath after that. But it all starts with that pass being in a good spot for Wagner to get started on that move.
One more at the line. Tavia has 4 points here in the opening quarter. And she's stuck on that empty trip. Maddie Kluse, the defensive rebound Clemson, which has trailed by double digits, can get it down to 2 or 1. Nope. Kluse was looking for her 3rd 3-point make.
Well, he doesn't take this many attempts often, especially in conference play, but knocked down those first 2 well.
That 3 by Ivey does not draw iron. Maybe a little quick there. I think Boston College was thinking 2 for 1, which might have been why Kayla Ivey put up that shot. There's a 10-second game clock, shot clock differential now for the Tigers. McQueen in the mid-range.
And that might have been quick as well. I mean, not a bad look per se, but...
Well, the 2 for 1 worked out for BC.
Yeah.
Now they get to hold for the final shot of the quarter. They'll have a lead after 1. Let's see what Coach Mack draws up here for the final 10 seconds. Wagner on the isolation. Wagner lost it. Raven Thompson took it away, and time runs out on Loyal McQueen.
Yeah,
Sean
really.
Poppy in to replace her after this game where Teya Sidberry had a huge one.
Yes. It's one of those 20 and 10s, right? When it's going well, it's really going well for Sidberry, as we've talked about. That was very similar to what we've seen against Florida State last time out to start the game today.
Into the middle, Raven Thompson couldn't hit, but chased her miss. Clemson will keep it.
Good design out of the quarter break there. It's been a couple of those, even with the 20 points on the board here for Clemson. It feels like there's even been a few left out there in the early going.
Raven Thompson is one of 3 players that Coach Poppy brought with him from Chattanooga to Clemson as a transfer.
And I've liked all of her looks so far, but just 0 of 4 in the game.
Mia Moore, UAB transfer. Cone into the corner. Klus hit a couple of threes in the first quarter. Can't hit the 2. Couldn't hit the rim, in fact. BC on that extended defensive possession ends up getting a stop. Savannah Samuel enters the game for the first time as the second quarter begins. 33 in goal. Sidberry backs down Thompson. And on the run, got the contact. Free throws for Teya Sidberry. We've been talking a lot about all the transfers that Sean Poppy brought in. If you count those that are sitting out this year, they have 10 newcomers to the roster. You don't need me to tell you that's a lot, and that graphic proves it.
It really is amazing. New staff, as you said, totally as well. So it's all different, and you're going to get more of these years in college basketball than maybe we had in years past. But, you know, I think they've done a pretty good job putting it together. Got off to a really nice start to the season. A couple of key ACC wins against Cal at home. They've been close a couple of times as well.
Cone throws it out of bounds. You know, it's funny, I was looking back at that box score from that ACC tournament game last March between these two teams. You're always, as you prepare for a game, you're trying to figure out, all right, well, who did well the last time? Nobody for Clemson even played, so it's hard to take any stock in what happened in that game as it pertains to today.
You know, that we don't really remember many turnovers, self-created turnovers in this game. Well, been pretty efficient so far.
Ivy from Daley. That's her second 3-ball of the opening half. Kayla Ivy. And Boston College has the first 5 points of the quarter.
Second quarter in a row, the Eagles have gotten off to a really good start. When Ivy can shoot in rhythm, she's really effective.
And off the turnover, it's Sidberry to Samuel on the run. Clemson needs a timeout.
3 rebounds. Good start.
Boston College shooting 55% from the field. Clemson down to 33%. They're 7 of 21. And right as we were going to break, you saw a shot of Coach Sean Poppy. He was not happy at that last turnover that led to the run out. Tessa Miller coming out of the timeout, working in the post. Cone to the baseline. Moore didn't realize the shot clock was that low. And Mia Moore threw a pass. It's a 30-second violation.
Yeah, I was going to say to start, it was really good patience by Miller to not force a pass somewhere and to wait. But then BC, because of it, was able to sort of collect themselves defensively and catch that cutter, which is the play that we've seen Clemson run once or twice. And once that cut wasn't there, nothing really left on the sequence.
Well, if he wasn't happy before the timeout, then when you come out of a timeout, you called and get a shot clock violation, that really is going to get you a little bit irked. They've gone deeper into the bench. Maddie Ott checks in. He doesn't play all that often for Clemson, number 30 in purple. Samuel. Now Sidberry running hook. Loose ball on that rebound. That was a fight for it that Raven Thompson ultimately won for the Tigers. And Cone in transition.
You live with most of those looks from her, even quickly there.
Ivy inside Daley, and she double dribbled there with a double team guarding her.
I think actually it was a little bit of an odd bounce off the pass, and I think that's what sort of got her out of rhythm slightly with the dribble.
This is what you were talking about.
Maybe just a little higher than you normally expect.
Samuel takes it away from Cone. Savannah Samuel has the last couple of buckets for BC, which leads by 13.
That's where BC really thrives, taking away the basketball. Excellent read there by Samuel. 9 points off turnovers for the Eagles in this first half.
And pretty remarkable. Each quarter, BC has scored at least the first 9 points. Cone misses again. Thompson, though, good hustle. Raven Thompson saved that long offensive rebound. Cone, boy, she does have that eternal green light. She'll get him up there from 3. And Wagner beats Clemson down the court on the other end. Dontavia Wagner gets the layup.
Yeah, I was going to say with Cone, I mean, even you go back to that game against Syracuse a week ago, took a season-high 15 three-point attempts.
Over 4 minutes into the quarter, this is Maddie Ott letting it fly and coming up well short. Ivy, no look pass to Daley in transition. Another Clemson timeout. That was gorgeous from Kayla Ivy. And a recent trend, which is coming out of their holiday layoff. BC's been giving up a lot of points, including over 100 the other night against Florida State. But thus far, the defense for BC, very, very good.
Yeah, held Clemson to just 1 for 7 from the floor in this second quarter. Eagles on the other side, 5 for 6. Stark difference.
Clemson's had to burn a couple of timeouts already in the quarter, and that time they get a basket out of one from Maddie Kluse. Coming off the bench today, the original Miami, Ohio transfer has been their best offense. That was much needed. Boston College trying to snap a 3-game losing skid today, and they've come out hot at home. Shot clock under 3, pass to the baseline, and Todd got rejected by Tessa Miller.
Yeah, that was one of the first times BC had been forced really deep down the timer. Good work by Clemson there. The deeper you go, the easier it is to read the play, and Clemson hit.
My goodness, Hannah Cone. She can hit them from long, long range and has come off the bench and put in 3 3-pointers in the half.
And all of a sudden, it keeps Clemson within contact here.
Quickly, you go from behind by 14 to behind by 9. Daley takes her defender to the basket again, and that time she couldn't hit it, but Wagner there to clean it up for BC. Dontavia Wagner again. And she's done some great work on the offensive glass this half.
Yeah, she's such a good offensive rebounder. 3 of them in this half, 3 of her 6 rebounds for the game so far.
Miller finding Maddie Kluse. And now Maddie Ott. We got both Maddies on the court here. Porter gave it back. Cone put it on the floor that time and could not hit off the window, but BC can't get the rebound. And it's going to be Ott with the layup and 1. Boy, it almost looked like Boston College stopped. Maddie Ott from Frisco, Texas.
This is where, you know, 3-point shot here or there keeps you within contact. All of a sudden, if this free throw goes, it's right back to an 8-point game.
Very nice stretch here for the visiting Tigers. Both of the players named Maddie, Kluse and Ott. Those are the 2 that Coach Poppy kept around from the previous staff. Of the 10 they played, they're the only 2 returners. Giving good minutes here in the second quarter to Clemson. Sidberry in the mid-post. And now it's Athena Tomlinson. Daley pulls up from the mid-range and hits the tough jump shot. Andrea Daley has looked as good in this half as she has for BC in a few weeks.
Yeah, really, really aggressive offensively. She's done a nice job.
Tessa Miller got around Wagner to the basket, couldn't hit.
Wagner got poked in the eye maybe on that steal attempt.
Meanwhile, Tomlinson short on the wing three-point shot. The error is going to keep it this way, though. Tie up. Boston College has the possession error.
And important, you know, we talk about this so much, right? The last couple of minutes going into the break, the first couple of minutes coming out, but especially here, you know, it's 10 right now. We saw Clemson just cut it to 8 a few moments ago. The Eagles at times led by as much as 14. That's a great inbounds play.
Yeah, it was. Andrea Daley does it again. Ivy delivered the dime. That might be one where you just give the head coach the 2 points. You draw up a beauty. BC back up by 12. Still shooting 57% from the floor. Mia Moore. Klus finds Addie Porter inside Miller. Good pass. Addie Porter and Tessa Miller finished it off.
I think you're going to look and see more attempts from Miller in the second half. She's been kind of, especially in that zone, you use her, kind of work from there. Looks good on the pick and roll at times.
Ivy can't hit. And there's Addie Porter on the glass. Clemson has hung around in a half where they've trailed by as many as 14. I think if you're BC, you're thinking we can't play offense much better. Porter's pass knocked away by Sidberry with 13 on the timer.
Oh, and this is why are modern basketball people, why do they love the three-point shot? Why are you seeing more and more attempts? Well, it's because of this, right? Even though Clemson's only shooting 39% from the floor, but you make 5 of them, you feel much closer than you might in a normal spot.
Well, there was a foul against BC right before Hennicone attempted that three-point shot. I don't think the shot would have... And BC's only, as you see in the bottom of your screen, committed 2 fouls in the quarter, so Clemson just inbounds. Final minute of the half, and it's almost turnover. Good save by Cone. Mia Moore lets one fly. Right to Tessa Miller, and she scores plus the foul. Tessa Miller, first Tiger into double figures. She's come off the bench and put in 10.
She read this pretty well not to crash and to kind of hold where she was. Watch 22, stays right there. Thought about it, but actually holds back. Could see that shot was short. Going to get that bounce right off the front of the rim.
Clemson has it down to 7. 5 in a row for the Tigers here at the end of the second quarter, and we got ourselves a ball game. Each team 1 game above 500 overall. Clemson 1 game ahead of Boston College in the ACC standings. And there's a foul. Plenty of fouls to give for Clemson, so not a bad idea to be a little over-aggressive there against Tiana Todd. Been a whistle-free second quarter for the most part.
I mean, that's the other piece, right? Neither team's turning the ball over all that much.
Inbounds goes to Wagner, and Dontavia Wagner gets into double figures, her 10th point of the half.
Similar play to the one we saw earlier, but actually more difficult to execute for Tomlinson. Had to split 2 defenders on the pass, but does so well.
8-second differential between shot and game clocks. That was a force by Moore, and it's an offensive foul against Mia Moore. Dontavia Wagner to the hardwood, took the contact and got the call for BC.
Excellent job here. Wagner gets in good positioning. Now they'll bring Ivy back in, even with those 2 fouls here, as BC can hold for a final shot. So no one else you want but Ivy setting this up.
Boston College a chance to go up double digits heading into the locker room. Final 10 seconds, Samuel inside Sidberry, one-on-one. Sidberry knows what to do with it. 12 in the half for Teya Sidberry, and BC goes ahead by 11 at halftime. The Eagles, who have lost 3 in a row, only won a couple of games since the Christmas break. Something's got to give here today. An important 20 minutes for the season for each of these teams. And the third quarter underway with the Tigers in possession. Addie Cluse. This is Addie Porter. Immediately they feed Tessa Miller, who got doubled and fights through it. Almost.
So that's an interesting look, right? BC brought the double team once Miller was there in the post. We'll see if that's a trend that continues in the second half.
First possession, quarter number 3, BC. They had a great start to each the first and the second quarters. Wagner, they kind of pulled the rug out, and as she felt for that contact, defender backed off and she traveled. But how about this? The first quarter, Boston College scored 10 straight points. The second quarter, Boston College had the first 9 points. Just what I'm talking about on the bottom of your screen. Tessa Miller, well, she says, we're going to score first this quarter. Feeding Tessa Miller, the Belmont transfer, to get the deficit under double figures.
Well, again, when Clemson's been going right, good ball movement offensively, and that time Miller had a little bit of space, so elects to take it. I think the Eagles will live with it if she's sort of back where she was on that initial spurt, but of course you can't give her the space to drive like that, because it ends up at 3.
Well, she didn't start this game as we've talked about, but she's got 14 to lead the Tigers. BC scoreless on that possession as it was last touched by the Eagles off the 3-point miss.
Yeah, and Todd was there. BC thought that was out of bounds and would have stayed. That's why Todd did not touch that ball.
BC's done a great job keeping Loyal McQueen in check. Their leading scorer on the season, the Tigers. She's got just 3 points. McQueen has only even attempted 2 shots. Addie Porter is free to fire. That was a great box out by Sidberry. Lead is 8. One of the heroes in the first half for BC was this woman, Andrea Daley. Came off the bench with 11 and starts the second half. They feed Daley. Boy, she tried to fight that pass through a triple team. Two minutes into the third quarter, Clemson's had a good start, trying to creep closer. Here's McQueen matched up against Todd and gave it off to Mia Moore. Cluse on the floor, Cluse on the run. And Daley on the push for Boston College. Ran into 2, lost the ball, and Wagner then had it knocked away. I think really good defense for the first 2.5 minutes of the quarter from the Tigers.
I think so. We'll see it on a couple of plays here. Daley trying to go inside, but there's 2 defenders there, so can't get that pass through to Sidberry. And another sequence right here, same thing. 2 defenders kind of clog the lane. Wagner does have the ability to find that ball, but couldn't do anything with it.
Oh, what a pass there, Todd, for Ivy. And Ivy finds Sidberry, who's going to the free throw line. That was really nifty ball movement. I'll tell you what, when Boston College has had these inbounds plays, those underneath inbounds plays, they've run some beauties today.
Yeah, would have deserved a hockey assist if this had been converted into a basket. but you're right, pretty much everything. And it's been different styles. That time was kind of a couple of passes before you got to the basket. The other ones have been one quick pass and then immediately up. The Eagles have been good in those spots.
There's the first point of the second half for BC. Now the first couple, and they belong to Teya Sidberry. 14 points after her career high of 28 Thursday night against Florida State. Mia Moore took it in against Njai, and that was a tough finish off the glass for Mia Moore. Just her second field goal in 7 attempts.
Talked about Clemson hanging in, right? It feels like, can they really need one of those spurts? They've been close, but haven't gotten that real spurt. Can they do it here? All of a sudden within 8 points.
Tatum Green going inside, and Njai couldn't catch it. Just slipped through her fingers. McQueen on the move with a left hand. She just couldn't finish. That was saved beautifully by Clemson. Wow, they say it's going to be BC ball. I'm not sure I agree. And you could see the Clemson bench in the sideline. They weren't happy with the decision. Let's see it.
Well, again, not a bad look here, but McQueen just can't get it to go. And then, yeah, did Miller get it off of Green? I think she was still inbounds.
Yeah, that might have been a break for Boston College.
Just whether some part, maybe a foot was on the timeline, but.
And it's thrown away by Tiana Todd.
So one thing to watch here, that's 7 turnovers for the game for BC, but 4 of them have been here in this third quarter.
In not even 4 minutes. That was tough against a couple defenders there for Tessa Miller, and it got blocked.
It's been a very different third quarter. Defenses have really been the theme.
And a nice attack by Tiana Todd to earn a couple at the charity stripe for BC. You're right, though. It does. It looks like we're watching a different game than we saw in the first 20 minutes.
I mean, because of the turnovers, BC only has 2 shot attempts in this third quarter so far. Clemson has 7 on the other side, and even there, just 2 for 7.
Yeah, even with all the great work the Tigers have done here on the defensive end to start the second half, they've only made up 3 points on the halftime deficit. And now 2.
That's why that points off turnover stat is so important. Clemson, even though they've gotten them here, not been able to take advantage of it so far here in this third quarter.
Interesting that Tiana Todd, who is Boston College's leading scorer now this season statistically, she's only taken 2 shots. Those were her 3rd and 4th points of the game. Foul before that shot against BC. Todd.
So, yes, the foul is before, but one thing you are seeing here for Clemson is trying to get the ball to McQueen a little bit more, right? Just had, what it was, the 2 attempts in that first quarter. That was it.
Yep.
But we've seen a couple of times here, they've gone to her on that same play. Missed the one earlier. That one, there's a foul, but definitely trying to get it to number 1 a bit more here to start this third quarter.
And there she is again, as if she heard you. She shot it over the rim, though. Sidberry on the run. Look at her like a point guard. Off of Clemson it goes. There are not a lot of players that are essentially the center, play the 5 spot, that can bring the ball up court like this.
Yeah, you can see when she gets to this ball, and then it's just all go here. Really stayed with it a long way until that double team came in and McQueen got a piece.
Ivy from the corner, and a foul on a 3-point make. Kayla Ivy. Wow, it's a chance at 4 for Kayla Ivy, her 3rd from long range today.
And again, it's a design off the inbounds play, right? Just too much from Cone there, jumping out. Ivy makes the shot well. 3 triples now for Kayla Ivy. How good have these inbounds plays been?
Phenomenal. Kayla Ivy for a double-digit scoring day. A 4-point play for Boston College's 5-year senior point guard. And the largest lead of the game is matched at 14. Mia Moore slashing to the hoop. Ends that BC spurt. There's another three. It could have been a foul, too. Teya Todd hit the ground after that miss, but the whistle stayed silent.
Still was almost halfway down.
You're right. Nice pass inside for Tessa Miller, and Clemson comes back with a couple of buckets in a row, right at the rim, each of them.
Miller's been such a steadying force in this game. 6 of 9 from the floor, 16 points. Only one in double figures for Clemson.
Todd tries it again, and this time she's got it. Second in the country in three-point percentage, Teya Todd, the junior, and that's the first one she's hit here this afternoon.
Talk about someone who has the green light all the time. Todd, for sure, the way she shot the ball recently.
Yeah, why not? 49% 3 points this season. Raven Thompson.
So now, after a little bit where we talked about that defense, all of a sudden the offense has sort of come back to life here these last couple of possessions here.
Freshman Tatum Green with a left hand. That was high degree of difficulty. Boston College by 11, 6 minutes into the second half. 11 was the halftime margin. It's 11-11 in the quarter. And a foul as they try to swipe it away from Tessa Miller. In particular, neat when it's the young ladies that come, and that's how you build future athletes, not just fans. Tessa Miller, couple at the line for the Tigers here. Remember, all these players that were out on the court, they were young and eager to learn at some point when they were growing up. We all need role models. Largest lead's been 14, including just a couple of game minutes ago for BC, which has brought in Savannah Samuel off the bench for the first time in the half. Todd lets another one fly. Oh, she's hit 2 in a row. Teya Todd. Don't give her an inch. It's going down. It's funny, it was just a few moments ago, Eric, that we looked and said, well, she's had a very quiet day.
Yep. And again, that's what the three-point shot can do. That green light always, and the way she's shooting it this year, it's only a matter of time.
That was saved by Mia Moore. Now Miller had it knocked away on the pass from Cone. BC can get the largest lead of the day, but Daley unable to hit it. And it's going back to the Tigers. She had 2 points in the first half. Now she's got 8 points in the last few minutes.
And it's not just catch and shoot, right? She can create her own shot, as you just saw right there. But what a response here, as you see both players who we saw Cone earlier hit a couple threes to keep Clemson in it. Now Todd has helped extend this lead. But remember, Josh, we were just talking about Clemson was in, I think it was 8. About 6-7 minutes left in this quarter, and said, okay, maybe is this a point where they can get it closer than that? There's been a few times they've cut it to 8, 9, but never really closer than that. Now the Eagles have managed to extend the lead.
Todd got bottled up. When she got into the lane there were no fewer than 4 or 5 different arms right around her. BC keeps it on the arrow. Look at all that traffic there in the lane. But a held ball with 18 on the shot clock as Todd gets a breather here. Daley tries her luck at a 3. Oh my goodness, off the glass. Yeah, you gotta smile after that one goes down to give BC the largest lead of the day.
Still counts.
No, they don't give you style points. Andrea Daley with 14. Addie Ott trying to give Clemson a spark off the bench. Now Addie Porter into the corner. Cluse couldn't catch it cleanly and then threw it away, but it's off of BC out of bounds. Only 2 to shoot. Andrea Daley, we talked about the last 3 games had only averaged 5 points a game. She hadn't been making shots. Today is a feel-good, get-well game for Andrea.
And you heard what Coach Mack said about her at halftime, right? The trust that they have.
That was a blocked shot. Clemson only had 2 to get one off. And the block makes it a 30-second shot clock violation.
Talk about things like momentum and confidence so often in sports, and especially in basketball. You know, sometimes you can just sense a difference, and you can almost feel the level of confidence that BC's playing with offensively right now.
They're on a 6-0 run to go up by 16. Daley at the foul line. I beg your pardon, Wagner. And her mid-range game, that's been a thing to watch this year. She's got it effectively working. 8 in a row for BC. Clemson needs a response. Loyal McQueen still stuck on just 3 points, and then she fouled Savannah Samuel, who had grabbed the rebound of her miss.
So just to go back to the point we were making earlier, so when Clemson cut it to 8 at the 7:16 mark of this third quarter, it was 49-41. So since then, Boston College on a 17-7 run over the last 5:42 and has taken this game to a very different place.
Yeah, well, there was anguish in the look on Sean Poppy's face there in the Clemson bench. Ivy lets it fly from distance, and there's Daley on the offensive glass, but Clemson's got the arrow, so they'll get it back. Almost. Would have been BC's 8th offensive rebound.
They certainly always have those offensive rebounds, ability to turn the ball over, getting steals in there. That's what this team does, and when they can use that to get in their transition. But it's been the other stuff today which has contributed to why this lead is at its largest point of the day right now at 18.
Clemson trying to snap a drought. McQueen. And now Maddie Kluse on the run. Defended without fouling by Nene and Jai. Samuel went behind the back on the take. Wow, Savannah Samuel to the rack. Boston College 10 in a row, but Samuel's down and hurt on the other end. This is a 5-on-4, and Clemson couldn't take advantage of it. Well, they were going to call a foul against the top.
More significant one is going back to Clemson cut this to 8. 19-7 since that point.
So Boston College facing full court pressure here. Freshman Tatum Green gets it into the floor general's hands, and Kayla Ivey, as Clemson backs up, brings it across. Sidberry going to work inside. Teya Sidberry. McQueen with one hand as Boston College scores the final 12 points of the third quarter. They go ahead by 22 points.
Gets wide, can go up with either hand on that little runner. She does it both times, and again, the reason it works is because BC goes in 8 seconds rather than waiting until like 4 or 5 seconds. Then you don't have time to make that move, especially when it's not, you know, the fourth quarter, right?
BC starts the fourth with possession. They've got 5 players already scoring in double figures in this game. Dontavia Wagner is one of them. And she's going to the free throw line. Chance to add on. I'm going to talk about balanced scoring. Sidberry's got 16, Daley 14. Wagner with 12, and Kayla Ivey and Tiana Todd each have 10.
And it was from the jump. It felt like you could feel that multiple players were in rhythm today, really right from the start of this game.
0 of 3 at the line for Dontavia on what's otherwise been a terrific day. There's one. First point of the fourth belongs to Boston College. So it's a big uphill climb for the Tigers. Got to start somewhere. That was blocked, but the good news is You got Anya Poole back in the game for the first time since the opening minutes when she took that inadvertent elbow to the face.
Yeah.
That kind of afternoon for Sean Poppy and his team.
Say, you could see it. He wanted to foul first, obviously.
Look at the field goal percentage, too. Boston College still at 57 for the game. Todd driving dish Ivy. Todd steps back. That was a 2. Wagner has an offensive rebound. And she's fouled. Wow. Dontavia Wagner is getting close to a double-double. That was her 9th rebound. A 23-point game. Clemson team that's just 1-5 in its previous 6. Sidberry's got 18. The Tigers are just trying to find some answers right now. It is a 15-0 run for BC. Clemson won 3 of its first 4 games in the ACC this year. That's going to be against the offense. Illegal screen knocking Sidberry to the ground. Anya Poole, the guilty party. They had a week early in January, Clemson did, where they beat nationally ranked Cal and then Stanford at home. And with this remade roster, you thought, well, we really got something going. But it's been tough sledding ever since.
As you said, month of January. But again, that can happen in the ACC, right? There's so many good teams. And even the teams, you know, kind of maybe lower down in the standings are all capable of, Clemson's a good example, stepping up and getting a win.
We were talking about just a few moments ago with 5 players in double figures today. Wagner has missed 4 of her 5 free throw attempts. Point number 16 unanswered in this game. We had a 10-point game with 3.5 minutes to go in the third. That was a game at that point. You go a 16-0 run. It's not a game anymore.
No, and Boston College has done a really great job. Loose, oh, even there. I mean, if that doesn't define this second half, I don't even want to necessarily say the game for Clemson. I think more just the second half, where it's really gotten away. There were moments, they were in contact that full first half. Both teams were looking for a little bit more on the defensive end, but the second half, the Eagles have just kind of worked to put this game on ice.
Maddie Cluse grabs the rebound. And a takeaway by Athena Tomlinson. The freshman finding Sidberry. She's wide open.
And even there, it's a little thing, Josh, but I like Tomlinson rather than the steal and just straight to the basket. As she's getting deeper into this first season with Boston College, it's okay, you try it, it's not there, so you hold, kick it back out and reset. Live to fight another day. But a really good read initially on the steal.
Yep. Clemson hasn't scored in almost 7 minutes of game action. And there it finally ends on a putback from Maddie Cluse. After BC had the previous 16 in this game. Cluse has been a bright spot. She's got 10 off the bench today. Came in averaging 4. BC turns it over. Maddie Ott dove on the floor. It's a runaway for Cluse, who's got 2 in a row for the Tigers.
Really nice game for Cluse today. As we've talked about a couple of times, averaging just 3.5 points per game so far this year.
Tatum Green turnaround inside. Freshman Tatum Green gets her second bucket of the day after 13 points against Florida State. The skills are there for Tatum Green. Once she moves forward in her career, you feel like she could be a standout.
Yeah, you definitely see it, and especially in this zone that Coach Mack likes to play. Someone like that who has so much length in terms of their wingspan. As she gets more and more comfortable at this level, that's going to be a really important asset.
Todd working behind the back. Hannah Cohn right on her. And now it will be Tatum Green. Has to make something happen. Timer's down under 5. Sidberry running hook. Again, Teya Sidberry for her 20th point of the day. Boy, she throws up that one-handed shot frequently. She can make it. It's not the most traditional looking field goal attempt you'll ever see.
I remember the first conversation we had with Coach Mack when she brought in Teya Sidberry last year was, you know, it's not always going to look pretty. It's a nice three-point shot there for Clemson, but she's just going to find a way to score.
For a 3-0 weekend here at County Forum.
Obviously a great win for the men's team. They've been close a couple of times late in games and want to see if they can build some confidence off of. That's been the story today, I think, from the jump. I mean, maybe overuse that word sometimes, but this has just been a confident basketball team wearing gold for Boston College, and it's just proved all the way through today.
Daley an offensive rebound. Ivy gets a second try at a 3. Third chance, it's Todd. Tiana Todd says third time's the charm. Well, when you're talking about it was from the jump, Eric, it was 10-0 Boston College just over 2.5 minutes into the game. So it really was from the jump today. Closest Clemson got back within 7 late in the second quarter. After BC had gone ahead by 14 here in Chestnut Hill, BC looks like it will emphatically snap a 3-game skid. Dontavia Wagner leaving just a rebound for a double-double today. 15 points now with her 9 boards and make it 16. The matter was settled early in this fourth quarter if it hadn't been already. BC ended a 16-0 run. This is now the largest lead of the day. Klus inside the arc for 2. Banked and missed. Get to see Kennedy Jackson on the court for Boston College for the first time. They're back up center. Ivy, one-footed push shot. Wow, that was old school. Love it. Kayla Ivy having a big day.
Boy, it's this game, I mean, you can define it a bunch of different ways, but I think just so many different ways the Eagles have gotten to this balanced scoring effort today has certainly stood out.
Another run here for BC. They've got the last 6.
Now, it's worth noting, again, we talk about the ACC, the way the schedule sets up. It was, you know, always going to be a challenge early for Boston College. And so many of those ranked teams they got in a row to start the month of January. But you kind of, you know, look at what's ahead. And again, I mean, there's no easy games. It's certainly not that, but you're competing against teams around you in the standings right now, around you in the preseason poll. Outside of kind of, again, you get this 3-game stretch with Georgia Tech, Cal, and Stanford. So find a way to build some momentum off of this. That's the big thing, right? We've seen some of these efforts, but now it's about, can you build momentum off of this when you go to Pitt next week?
The answer doesn't come from Hannah Cohn. Todd for 2 in a row. You betcha. Tiana Todd, and all of a sudden she's hit 4 3-pointers in the second half. And shooting about 50% from beyond the arc this season. It's another big run. 12-0 Boston College. Miller, and 1. Tessa Miller, who's been the best offense today for Clemson. Chance to add on to her 19 points with 1 at the line.
You know, you have to give a lot of credit to the way that Boston College, I mean, what did Coach Mack tell us at halftime, right? Really happy with a lot of what they'd seen offensively, but just needed to do some things on the defensive end, and they have certainly, to their credit, done that. I mean, Clemson's been held to 21 points, 22 points now in this second half.
Actually, it is 21. She missed that free throw.
Oh, stats jumped it.
Yeah. Tomlinson free to fire. Unable to get onto the scoreboard. You also have Jakayla Thompson joining Athena Tomlinson in the backcourt. Lily Krashevets has come in on the front line for BC. For Clemson, Kylie Kellerman's in there, number 10. This is Maddie Ott, left-handed, and Ott drew the contact. Well, the standings in the middle of the bottom of the ACC, they're so bunched up.
Yep.
And kind of to your point, if either of these teams can get out on a little run even, just you could string 2 or 3 consecutive victories together, that can make a whole lot of difference come March.
Absolutely. And again, I mean, look, we still got a month here. Still a month's worth of season left. There's plenty still to be sorted out.
Couple for Otts. Good game for her, 5 points off the bench. Averaging 1 point per game on the season entering today. 31-point lead, Boston College, as we hit 90 seconds to go. Clemson's going to lose 6 out of its last 7.
Again, one other point worth making here.
Tatum Green beats the shot clock with a 17-foot jumper. And then Klus hit the deck, and there's a foul against Boston College underneath.
This is one more point, BC continues to be really good on their home floor. And that's been a consistent theme under Coach Joanna Burnaby back to me, and it's been a theme this year.
Krashevets got the foul. To your point, BC's going to be 10-4 at home. This will be their second ACC home win. The other was against Syracuse a couple of weeks ago. Cone, that's what she does. 5 3-point makes today for Hannah Cone. And then they trap Jakayla Thompson and turn her over ultimately as Tatum Green had it go out of bounds off her hands. If you like watching 3-point shooters, Hannah Cone is your kind of player. I mean, she'll come in there and she'll throw them up from all over the court. 15 attempts their last game. 9 today. I think maybe number 10's coming up. Oh, she passed. And an illegal screen on the Tigers.
As crazy as this sounds, and you mentioned all these newcomers for Clemson, so, I mean, we're deep into the season, but still trying to work some of these minutes.
Kennedy Jackson gets on the scoreboard for Boston College. Boy, the last couple of games, she had only even played 5 minutes total. It's kind of fallen out of the rotation, had the 6-year senior. She got point number 94 for BC. Spinning and scoring, plus the foul, Clemson. Morgan Miller. Her first field goal of the season. Congratulations, Morgan Miller.
Nice little play here, a little spin move around Tatum Green. Got the free throw also.
3 points the old-fashioned way for Morgan. Her only 3 points all season before that were at the charity stripe. Cuts the deficit under 30, and that's how this one will finish. A dominant win for Boston College to snap out of a 3-game skid. Wire to wire over Clemson, 94-65 BC. First meeting between those two coaches